Hey guys, so I'm doing a reaction to what seems to be an interesting video by Pink Book Lessons. She's a really decent creator, so I definitely think you guys should check her out. I mean, she's pretty popular, but yeah, I think this is worth a reaction to. Well, let's check it out.
Here's the comment that started this entire conversation.
When some of us, quite frankly, feel that the men that are available to us, and I'm talking about across the color spectrum, across the age spectrum, trust me, I've done them all, they are not positioned to protect nor provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. They're not earning the incomes. They're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem.
It was this moment right here.
Please check out my other videos because I did a reaction to this video, right? These are the type of women that are delusional. She is talking about the top percent of men, right? Because most men are average earners. She's talking about the top percent of men where she has a hard time dealing with, where the top percent of men really don't want to deal with her. She is 40, been through, like she said, a lot of relationships. So that tells you, what does that tell you? That none of these men found her worthy to commit to, or she chose men that she didn't feel worthy to commit to as well. So that's very telling. And like I said, this is a 40-year-old woman. I mean, although she is decent looking, she's past the wall. Okay? And she thinks that she know what is like in the dating scene, because her dating is different now. Because at your age, men will care less about whether you want to be with them or not. Men care less about really trying. So because as reality hits, you're 40. You don't bring, youth. Average. I mean, she's good looking. At least in this clip. And I doubt this type of woman brings femininity. She's very argumentative, combative, and she thinks she knows what's right. This is the type of woman that don't go for average men, and the above average men don't want her. So she complains. So she's now complaining about the average men who morally are, who would want her, but they aren't good enough for her. Stuff like that. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I make more of a point in my other videos, so please check my other videos out.
Here that sparked conversations everywhere on social media.
You was talking down to working class blacks. You are a bourgeoisie. You are a bourgeoisie feminist, and I hope to God you wasn't engaged to no white man, because I thought somebody said you was engaged to a white man.
She is.
Eric,
she
Ebony,
was.
I better not find out your ass was swimming in the milk.
Syndicated radio.
I don't know why we refer to everyday working class people as having lower standards. There are people who think what we do is average and mediocre compared to what they do, and they probably right. Like, if I'm a media personality, entrepreneur in the entertainment business, I can name so many jobs that are more important than mine. Doctors, teachers, engineers, military, people in entertainment. Newsflash, we are not essential workers. The world is not going to stop because we're not on the radio. The world is not going to stop because we're not on TV. But let the bus drivers stop driving today. Honey, let the folks who drive Uber quit today. Something as simple as coffee. Let the Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks workers not show up for work today. Let the sanitation workers not pick up the trash and see what happens.
But the problem is it sounds like it's trying to make it seem like bus drivers and we call them the bus and tunnel people that they control the city. They run the city, make sure the city's running. That they're not bright and smart, which is totally wrong. I know a lot of smart and intelligent bus drivers, intelligent police officers.
I would like to say this is what the man himself, Kevin Samuel, always talk about how women put down average men. Average men that has built society. It's disgusting how any woman can put down average men. It's unbelievable. I think it's absolutely, disgusting how people do that.
Generational wealth is in African American women, and we are the most educated demographic in the country, then it's hard to marry a bus.
Also, she's wrong. Not the most educated, the most enrolled. Black women are not the most educated. No. They are the most college enrolled demographic.
Driver, because you're gonna have to, your kids may not be in the best schools. Your kids, aren't.
Yeah, but he
you're not
might
gonna
be
give
the best
anything.
father. Well, because I'm just saying that, like, when I look at these, I wanted to be a teacher. I had no plans of making much money, so I never saw that part. Knowing dating, I feel like you also limit yourself if you remove that they could be the best father, the best partner.
Both of my grandparents, I look to them as an example because my actual parents got divorced. They were factory workers, but they loved each other. They provided each other the life that they wanted, and they were happy. I have seen wildly successful, wealthy people. Think of all the celebrities that have it all and they're going to leave tons behind, but they're not truly in love and happy.
And if she didn't say enough the first time, Ebony came around the second time on her show to clarify her comments.
So let me be clear. First, I am a professional disruptor. So backlash is my business. And I will always take it on the chin for the sake of advancing the work, conversation, or movement. So know that I am completely unfazed by the onslaught of nasty comments, wishing me a sad, lonely, bitter existence until my untimely death. Now that is some weird energy to be wishing onto a black.
And let's say this, right? Her existence will probably be kind of lonely because she's at the point where I think she's 40, childless, where she's trying to do, I think, in virtual, whatever, the whole surrogate mother thing, I think. So, I mean, this type of woman, you can see her attitude and where it's gotten her. I think she's now at 4. I mean, I think she was married, although nothing is for, I don't know 100% sure. I just recently found out this woman. I think she was married, I think divorced, or she was in a long-term relationship with a white man and divorced or left him. And now she's supposedly dating a dentist, but I don't know. But then also trying to do a surrogate mother or something like that. So,
black woman, especially one who has dedicated her life to the liberation of black folk. But,
really?
Whatever. I guess go off.
Ebony, interracial dating is not the liberation of black folk. Just stop it.
So I'm standing 10 toes down on that position, and I don't really care if you're hurt or offended by it. And since some of y'all are already big mad, let me go ahead and make you incensed. So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said.
Ebony, you're not pouring nothing but a tall glass of misandry. But thank you for admitting that your comments that you made, they weren't towards every man like you try to make it seem. It was really towards black men.
But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse.
I think it's funny that women always assume that every garbage man, every bus driver, every whatever, postal delivery man can become the next six-figure man. Let's say a postal worker owns a post office, or a garbage man owning a garbage factory. It's like, you're ridiculous in your thoughts. Because everyone thinks that everyone can be entrepreneurs. Everyone thinks, especially women, think that everyone can become six-figure men. It's so ridiculous. Why can't people just be what they are? if you work hard enough to a point where now you, or a bus driver, a stable bus driver, that you like your job, why do you now see? This is this is the thing where women always need to push men to be ambitious more than they are. I mean, come on. Average people are average for a reason. Not everyone needs to have Elon Musk ambition. But every woman wants to date a man that has that level of ambition. You're not helping anybody. That's not how you help people. Oh, I want to help people establish a bus owning company. No, what you could help them is, right, promote better thinking. Get married early. Start a family. Don't have kids out of wedlock. No, because this is a woman that's 40, still technically I'm pretty sure still single, and now trying to have kids through science. She's not a good role model, period. Right? You want to help black people? Actually promote creating families, creating creating communities. That's how you help black people. That's how you help people, period. The help you can make people is, the way you can help people is saying, have families, have a husband, have a wife, have kids, create stable families, create productive future adults. Teach your kids well. Teach your kids to be good people, moral people. That's how you help people. No, telling a man that, oh, you're a bus driver, you have to be now an owner of buses. What? Why would you see? You're making. You think making men being overly ambitious is something great? No. Why don't you tell a man that, you know what? Work, have a stable job, but invest your money, right? Save your money. Don't spend your money willy-nilly. Be a bit frugal, right? Learn how to budget. Those are things that average people should do. Not every average person should be, like I said, mad ambitious. You don't have to be. And it's not common to just think you could push those ideals onto average people. So she's not helping nobody.
Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of...
What does being average have to do with white people? Ridiculous. It's like... Now she's showing the typical feminist. Always bringing things back to white people, making things about men. You're such a... You're ridiculous. Really? Average is good. Most people are average. Period. So average is good. It's ridiculous that I hate people putting down average. Most people are average. Period. You should be, I'm happy to have an average life. I'm not thinking I'm going to be six-figure man, traveling it up, owning companies, owning many houses, no. I just want a good, stable life. Pretty average. I'm not looking to be, anything crazy special. And this is the type of woman, right? It's funny with this level of expectation. What has it gotten her? A woman that just pretty much focused on her career, and what does she have to show for it? I've never even heard of this woman until now. So really, what is she? It's just ridiculous that she's the sad image of a feminist. Where now, I'm saying it again, she has to go through science to have a child, and a child out of wedlock with really no man. Because I saw this a video of her talking about that, saying that. So like, this is the life you want to promote? It's ridiculous. You literally are a terrible example for women. Terrible example. What do you example? Focus on your career. Use science when you're in your late 40s to have a child with still no man. I mean, like, you want to improve. Let's say, it's funny, right? You want to improve young black men, or black men in period. You're starting out your child on the wrong foot already without a father present. So really, you're not helping a black child, which you will scientifically, or you will conceive through science. You're not. So you're ridiculous. Women like this is ridiculous.
Conditioning black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
And for all of the deflectors who kept saying Ebony can have her preference, why y'all want black women to have nothing? It wasn't about Ebony or her preference. She failed at getting any man that she wanted from any race because she wasn't qualified at all. And no, your money as a woman does not qualify you for a rich man. Your college degree, your job, none of that qualifies you. But that's a different video. She's way beyond the wall and still single, and we all see why. And then about this comment here.
No, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
You see, when these feminists push these agendas, they are trying to capture the souls of other women, especially younger women. This is less about Ebony and more about the rhetoric and the programming that Ebony was pushing to women in that interview with Iyanla. That's what this is about. This is bigger than Ebony. You can't mold stale bread anyway. You can't change her. What I think we all care about with the women that's consuming this low energy, including the group of people that Ebony is targeting, that will be molding the minds of young women and girls. And I wish they would stop trying to hide behind pro-black. Every time we're talking about the attitudes of black women, the issues with black women, when they can't lie their way out of it, twerk their way out of it, or cry their way out of it, that's when they try to pro-black their way out of it. And then after sparking all of this conversation and saying she said what she said, Ebony went on the Breakfast Club to say more.
I said to hold the court, y'all, let me tell you why ownership is it for me. It's not about salary. Y'all made it about salary. Y'all started debating 125 a year versus 160 a year versus 200 a year.
Well, you did quote stats before you went into the thing with Iyanla. You talked about women earn more money than men.
And I talked about black women buying more homes. We buy homes at single black women are buying 20% of the market share of new real estate on the market. I know because I just closed last summer and it was a show in underwriting. That's another conversation.
They're graduating more than
also another statistic fact is that black women are the most evicted. So you could check it out. I forgot. I don't have the source, but that's a statistic I also recently heard too. You tell me if it's true or not. I mean, that's what I heard too, that they are the most evicted. So.
See, Ebony can say stuff like this in front of people who don't know any better. How are you bragging about single black women buying more homes than any other group in America right now, at a time when the rate of home affordability is at its lowest, interest rates are high, the prices are just way too high, inflated value that's going to come down. In a lot of places, there's an insurance crisis. Property taxes going through the roof, a recession looming, a big crash is inevitable. That means these women are walking into a trap. People who know finance or they are aware of what's going on, they're smart enough not to walk into the trap. But here's Ebony literally bragging about women being trapped right now. We've seen this happen already before.
Yeah.
I think I said it to you, Charlamagne, because Charlamagne,
Yeah.
even you guys do so much work on the Breakfast Club about what? HBCUs.
Yep.
And I was devastated when my good friend Eugene Scott sent me a post, Washington Post article that said black men are going to HBCUs 1 to 2. It's 2 to 1 for black women graduating. So these are things we got to look at.
Ebony, that's because a lot of black men already recognize the college debt trap. And to be fair, a lot of black women already realized it too. But they don't care that they're being tricked into all this debt. They just care about the fake perceived.
Yeah, that's what I think, Greg. I think men in general are seeing the disadvantages of going through college, of not seeing a whole lot of benefits. So I personally would recommend men or women to weigh the benefits and disadvantages of going to college. I believe most men are now doing trades. And so, they're doing trades and not occurring those college debts. So, I mean, although the stats of men not going to college is high, and I don't have the stats of men going through trades, but I believe a good deal of men are going through that route instead of going through college. So I may want to look into those, if there's any statistics on, men going through, trades.
Value that they can receive with nothing degrees. That's because women in general, they're more fascinated by titles. So yes, that's another trap. These men are choosing trades, certifications, and other ways to make money besides going deep into debt like these women who could never pay it off.
Because you have daughters, and you have daughters, and some of y'all in here got daughters. And if they're gonna want to partner and marry men, and black men at that, and they're gonna want to build together, as you two cite your marriages as examples of, we gotta talk about how people can be equally yoked.
So being equally yoked means that if the woman has a college degree, the man's gotta have a college degree too? If you want to know why black millennial women are losing, this is why. And not only are these older millennials, they're already done, they lost. Now they're trying to circle back around to Generation Z and contaminate them.
And this is not about hurting feelings or talking down or being an elitist. I need you to know that in 10 years, you may or may not have a job because AI.
Yeah.
Once again, here we go. Ebony can only have this conversation with people who are ignorant and don't know much about what she's talking about. The truth is, Ebony doesn't know much either. Yes, it's true that AI is coming for millions of jobs, but she's trying to make it seem like blue-collar workers should be the only ones worried, when in fact, white-collar workers will have a big problem too. At the top of the list of the most affected are administrative workers and lawyers. Isn't Ebony supposed to be the lawyer? Oh yeah, she's not even a lawyer anymore. Ebony, why don't you know that physically demanding work and outdoor occupations, AI will have little impact on them versus admin and lawyers?
Artificial intelligence. See, this is the part nobody wants to talk about.
The lawyers
y'all.
might not have a job in 10 years.
They might not, and that's why So I'm glad you're going there, Charlamagne, because this is the part of the conversation that people really are feeling triggered by. We all have to reassess constantly our skill set and how it's applicable today and how it might or might not be applicable tomorrow. So this goes back to everybody in the comments. Well, my daddy drove a bus and he did this and this and he was respectful and he was a good black man. He was a great black man, I'm sure. I'm sure all the bus drivers are saints and none of them cheat and none of them beat women and they all are just God-fearing men that show up and how they're supposed to in this world. I believe
Well, not all, but I'm sure that.
No, that's the narrative.
It's sarcasm.
Charlamagne was right about that, and she could no longer use that argument. So instead, she started dog whistling to the other feminists with the same song and dance, the Tyler Perry theme, the color purple theme. This is what these misandrists do.
That's the narrative. And all people that dare to own, that dare to advance a skill set in a different kind of way, not a better way or a worse way, a different kind of way, they all have full-blown AIDS, beat their wives, and will die alone. That's the narrative.
What Tyler Perry movie is this?
That's what I'm saying.
It is Temptation.
It's very Tyler Perry.
It is. But Ebony, what about the bus drivers that their goal was to own a home? And what if they came from something that necessarily wasn't the best education, and driving the bus is
I think we got to broaden the conversation. I think we keep using words like bus drivers and everything.
This is what bothers me, to make it seem like bus drivers only drive buses.
Why do we keep talking about bus drivers?
Because y'all let generalize drivers.
Let's generalize.
We can talk bus drivers, we could talk police officers, we could talk MTA workers, we could talk all these different people that work at these quote unquote average jobs.
Everyday working class people.
Now this is my problem, right?
Yes.
Now you know I do real estate and I do these seminars all across the country, right? We get thousands of people. The majority of people that own homes and investment homes are your quote unquote average workers, your bus drivers, all your MTA workers. So they just don't drive buses. They have properties. I know a police officer that drives Ferraris because it's not from his police job. It's from the houses that he owns that he made after the police job.
You sure it's not from the...
1,000%. No, Jesus.
This right here is why I say that you cannot mold stale bread. This woman is obviously an older woman. Her mind is corrupt and made up. You're watching a classic misandrist.
I'm 1,000%.
I'm playing. That's a joke.
He has more properties than you, me, and Charlamagne put together.
Joke.
That's who he is.
That's a joke.
But they take it serious. But I know these people that do it, and they put in hard work. So when you said I wouldn't date a bus driver unless he owned his own bus, a lot of people felt it like, yo, that's disrespectful because just because I took a job, and a lot of people take those jobs for a couple of different reasons. One, the benefits, right? Sure. They know they can work for 20 years. After 20 years, they can retire and they still get their retirement and they still get their benefits. So after 20 years, they can. Most police officers, the same thing. They get their retirement, they can still carry their firearm, and they can still get their benefits. So I look at it as that's a great hustle. They work for 20 years. At the end of 20 years, let's say they start at 21. At 41, they done working the bus company, done being a police officer, done being MTA, and now they just making money on top of money. So it's value over values, right?
I have to give it to Envy. Envy was the most prepared in the whole room.
Not to disrespect these people.
I feel like you're changing the goalposts, right? What people were upset about was what you said, and everything that you said could absolutely positively be true. People were upset that they felt like that you were putting down the average person, quote unquote average job, and the person that was working the average job, that their what they do is not as good as what you do.
That's a projection, Envy. Envy, that's a projection. Because I'll let you speak.
Go ahead, let me talk.
Go ahead, Envy. Yeah.
So when you start talking about all this, and I read the comments just like you did because I wanted to prepare myself when you came up here to understand what people were mad about and understand what people were upset about. So when you're talking about all this brother this and the black man this and the white supremacy this and this, that, and the other, that's all to the side of how you felt about that quote unquote average job, right? And I'll be honest with you, right? And one of the comments that I said, and maybe I'm not sure, right? The guy was like, you talk about all this about lifting a brother up and lifting this up and white supremacy and what you do for our people. And then the first thing the brother said was, but your fiance was white. And I'm sitting there like, how do you talk about how much you're uplifting and how much you're going for black people, but that's not necessarily what you're even looking for?
Well, first of all,
paging Dr. Umar, damn.
Your whole rant against black men driving the bus was a justification so you can date a white man. I hope that ain't the case. I hope that ain't. You spoke well today, my sister. You still didn't deal with collective work and responsibility, though. I still heard a lot of Eurocentric individualism. I still heard a lot of Eurocentric individualism. And I don't know where you've been getting your reports from, sweetheart, but we got 2 million Africans with college degrees unemployed. We got 2 million Africans with college degrees unemployed because you was doing a whole lot of pushing college. You was doing a whole lot of pushing college today, like it's some form of upward mobility. I'm sorry, Sister Ebony K. Williams. College is not an opportunity for 21st century Africans. College is not an opportunity for 21st century Africans. It's putting us into debt to the banks, my sister Ebony K. Williams.
Are you complicit and complacent in what you are doing currently? Or are you willing to go above and beyond and do the thing that most people won't do? By definition, Weezy, that's where exception lies.
Could be the nurse that drives Uber on the side. I think that's why
my father was a military. He was a mechanic. He was a bus driver. He was a police officer.
So he was exceptional. Your father was exceptional.
My mother worked at Guardian Life Insurance. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. are hurt and they have
shamed.
opinions. Just
I
like you
am
have your
not go-
opinion, you can't talk over people and not let people talk.
But you also interrupting me,
I'm
Envy.
not. I was talking. You keep talking to me. I let you speak, and then I just started talking.
You got it.
I just started talking. I let you speak, and I waited for you to be quiet, and I started talking. You heard something that you didn't like, and you cut me off. That's
go
how
ahead.
it just
But
went.
because once you start being
now it's not
intellectually
messy.
dishonest.
Here we go. Now it's not Envy. Go ahead.
Now,
No,
come on.
that's exactly what
let's keep it.
happened.
Let's keep it.
No, but
we don't get still. We won't shut up. And we manage everything through fear, control, and survival. And I learned that when I lost everything. I learned how to create because I had already built and it all crumbled. The house, the husband, the job, the contracts, the professional career in the world, stripped of it all. All the attachments, the necessities of life, the creature comforts, until I was stripped down to the bare bone. And then I had to learn how not to build. Build is external. Create is internal. And we as women have the power to create and attract anything.
Think like her, which is one of the biggest reasons why black women stay losing compared to other women. This is why they listen to other black women who lie to them and sabotage them. Ebony talked about how black men don't show up for leadership, when the only reason why she's able to sit up here with these books and spewing her misandry is because black men put her on when Murdoch and the folks at Fox News kicked her out. Yes, when you no longer saw Ebony on Fox, it was black men, Charlamagne and DJ Envy, giving her shine and respect on The Breakfast Club, helping her build her name. Nobody really knew her from Fox. She didn't get shine over there. It was a very small role in the first.
Talk about the ending where she's talking about black men not shown for leadership. It's funny that what man wants to be a leader to a disobedient follower? How could you be a leader to, let's say this, how could a man be a leader to a woman that will fight him on his decisions, who will question him on his decisions? This is what, let's say black women don't understand, is that when you're combative, when you are so aggressive, so emotional, so distrusting, why would a man want to be a leader to that? Why would a man want to even deal with that? They don't. So really, I think in the black community, men are just, they don't want to bother. They're just walking away. I think they came to a point where they're just letting women do their thing, be self-destructive, destroy their own community, which is, it's sad, but I think that's the result of years of aggression, years of combativeness, years of just, always just having an attitude. So men are just walking away. Black women are stereotype of being just non-feminine. And although stereotypes are not, they're not true in a way, but they are based on some form of truth. Not all stereotypes are not 100% correct, but they are, they're based on some form of truth, some form of image that was there that's just now over exaggerated into a stereotype. And I mainly date black women, and I see it, that the aggressiveness, the combativeness, the fighting with you always, always talking over you, always having to have the last. Kevin Samuels' show is the perfect example of how black women generally are. You don't see, or you will rarely see a black woman just take a step back, be feminine, be agreeable, be loving, stand behind her man. You don't see that. It's a rare thing. And this is the type of woman that is, the example of that. Even, even the white men that she dates can't even stand her because they said that she was engaged. I think that was over. So really, even the men that she deals with don't want to deal with her for long, or not able to deal with her for long because of her terrible attitude. And what else? Let's see. I don't know. I mean, she's just a type of woman that is such a terrible role model for black women. I believe she's a terrible role model for black women. What example has she set? A career woman? That's been a detriment to the black community. Honestly, that has. A woman that prioritizes her career over a family and a man, that doesn't build communities. That actually just kind of builds single mothers, or just women that stay alone for pretty much all their life. So she's a terrible example to black women. Anyway, what do you guys think? I mean, I really don't know this woman like that. I'm only recently seeing her more often now, but I don't care about that. She's tiresome to watch, so I wouldn't watch a whole lot of stuff of hers. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, that's it. Later, guys. Catch my other videos. Check it out, okay? And like and subscribe, please. And thank you. Later, guys.